In recent years, baseball has begun to trail other sports in popularity. This is largely because baseball struggled to gain a younger audience, while other sports have. I was watching a baseball game recently, and I began to think of things that MLB could do to improve the league and the sport. So in this video, I'll tell you what I would do if I was commissioner of Major League Baseball. I have some suggestions that I think Major League Baseball could use to make the league and the sport better. I know many of you will disagree, but these are just my opinions. Starting with the game itself, my first suggestion is a simple one. Make it easier to score. The NFL and NBA have already done this because they know that's what most fans want to see. The pitch clock certainly helps speed up the pace of the game, but other changes are needed to help baseball offensively. Moving the mound back a couple of feet could certainly help, especially considering it hasn't been moved since the 1890s, and obviously pitchers have improved a lot since then. That includes the speed of their pitches. The increased offense could also bring new fans to the game and generate excitement. I would also at least try to begin using robot umpires in regular season games. Maybe not completely robot umpires at first, but I would still slowly add them in with the goal of getting more accurate calls. Then looking at the financial side of things, the lack of a salary cap and its, at least in my opinion, damaging effect on the league and the sport. Salary caps allow small market teams to compete and make the league more competitive and interesting. And while I understand the argument for the historical dominance of teams like the Yankees and Dodgers, is it really fair for teams like the Reds and Brewers when the Dodgers are able to spend literally over $1 billion in an offseason for players? While Shohei Ohtani may very well have decided to join the Dodgers even with a salary cap, other teams in smaller markets should at least be able to compete. The NFL realized this early on, and the introduction of a salary cap in the 90s prevented teams like the Dallas Cowboys, among other franchises with the most money, from winning the Super Bowl every year and making things boring. And I think the MLB needs to do the same. To be fair though, there has been a consistent variety of winners, especially when you compare that to the European soccer leagues, also without a salary cap, when the same couple of teams win every year. In England's Premier League, for example, Manchester City has won 4 in a row. So this is more about players. It's hard to get excited if you're a fan of a small market team when you know any good players they have could very easily, and probably will, more than other sports, end up on a team like the Yankees or Dodgers from a larger market. That is very well reflected by the Green Bay Packers' seemingly never-ending support despite being in a very small market, while the Milwaukee Brewers, who play in a larger Wisconsin city, faced relocation rumors recently. One solution or compromise could also be a designated player rule, which Major League Soccer uses. Basically, it allows a team to spend as much money as they want on 3 players. They do not count towards the salary cap, but the rest of the team does. This rule has prevented the same teams from winning every year in MLS, but has also allowed the league to sign players like Lionel Messi. Another observation is MLB's schedule makes no sense. They play 162 games in a season, yet in the playoffs refuse to make all the Series 7 games. The first change I would make as commissioner is to shorten the season to something similar to what the NBA and NHL have, which is 82 games. Realistically, more like 140 or 150 games. The MLB season is simply too long. It makes many of the regular season games meaningless. Compare this to America's most popular and the most successful professional sports league from a financial point of view, the National Football League, which has each team play just 17 games. Now, this is partially because of the increased injury risk in football, but it also adds an element which MLB games have struggled to find, making every game important. Every game can change the fate of a team's season in the NFL, and while I certainly don't recommend Major League Baseball shrinking the season down to 17 games, they should at least cut it down to be similar to the NBA or NHL in my opinion, who have maintained the balance of having a lot of games and making them meaningful. I would also make all playoff series 7 games, and while I would keep the 12-team playoff format, I would change it when the league expands to 32 teams. I'd add teams in Nashville, Tennessee, and Austin, Texas. I already made a video explaining those 2 expansion choices. I recommend watching it if you are interested. Then expand the playoffs to 7 teams using a format similar to the NFL playoffs. Finally, MLB needs to grow the game, and the easiest way to do that is through increased international investment. The league has already started playing games in the United Kingdom, Mexico, and South Korea. Now they just need to continue doing that, and in more countries. The other thing they should be doing is creating European-style soccer academies, but for baseball. Baseball is a global game, so why not invest in academies to develop players around the world for the future of the sport? And on that note, the World Baseball Classic is good.
I've been wanting to see 3-2 from Ohtani. He throws. Trout strikes out swinging. Ohtani and Japan celebrate a World Baseball Classic championship.
But more emphasis should be placed on the Olympics. Baseball will be in Los Angeles in 2028, but Major League Baseball needs to make sure the sport stays in future Olympics as well. The 2024 Olympics proved just how much professional basketball players care, so why not do the same for baseball? And of course, an impressive showing at the Olympics would also inspire the next generation of baseball players, not just in the United States, but around the world. So those are my suggestions to improve Major League Baseball if I was commissioner. Which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you disagree with? Let me know in the comments and give your own suggestions. As always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.